Okay, we are live with another mini episode of Commercial Roofing Radio. And we're at the Commercial Roofing Academy today. So who's the first person I thought I would bring you? Well, how about one of the founders of Commercial Roofing Academy, a legend in the industry, none other than Steve Patrick.
Paul Reed.
Paul Reed.
I thought you was talking about Paul.
Paul Reed, Steve Patrick. And many other things. Obviously, that's not a fair introduction. I was going to say dinosaur, but
Yeah,
I didn't want to make an age joke.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've only been in the industry 29 years.
29. Okay.
So-
okay, that's not dinosaur status quo yet.
Yeah. Now, my business partner, Tony,
Yep.
51 years.
Wow.
That's dinosaur.
That's longer than like a marriage. That's like a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the vast majority of people in our industry are younger than 51 years of
Yeah.
age.
I mean, sadly enough, the life expectancy of a roofer, if you're shingling all day, is
Yeah,
probably less than that. you know?
Probably.
That's crazy. So how are you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Man, I'm doing very well. I came out early yesterday, enjoyed Colorado, went hiking. Incredible day.
Yeah.
I mean, just beautiful. I was, it was wonderful.
Yeah. And that's
The mountains and everything.
That's a lot coming from Texas, where it's 115
Yeah.
smoldering degrees right now.
It got up to 85 degrees. It was just horrible. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I've been here 3 weeks, and I caught myself complaining about it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It was like 90 degrees. I was complaining about 90-degree weather. You'd think I'm a Texan, right?
So we do these quick start schools for Commercial Roofing Academy like every 2 months. And I like to come up a day or two early or stay a day or two late and just enjoy Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm here. I mean, so I don't have to make a special trip. It's just wonderful.
Absolutely. So,
Even in the winter, like with the snow, because we never get that in Dallas. And so even that's fun.
yeah, absolutely. These mini episodes are a little different. I don't know if you've seen the show. The show is an hour long. We talk about all kinds of different things. And then we have our funny portion that's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at the end of it.
Yeah.
You'll be on a full show. He's going to be on a full episode at some point. I can't have Commercial Roofing Radio without Steve Patrick on it. It doesn't exist.
You're very kind.
But for right now, we're going to skip the questions of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to get to know you a little bit more and then get to know Commercial Roofing Academy. So where I always like to start is, how did you get into the industry all those almost 30 years ago?
So I was selling those credit card swipe machines and working for a bank, and I make a cut off of every swipe.
Yeah.
Right. And I had built this book of business in Dallas, Fort Worth. And the bank sold out to another bank, and the new bank said, we're starting everyone out at zero and you lose your whole book of business. Stupidest thing. So everyone quit, including me. I mean, what's to keep them from doing that again sometime in the future?
Yeah.
I had just sold 2 of those swipe machines to a roofing company in Plano. And the guy had told me, no, I don't want a machine. I've never taken credit cards. I don't want this.
Yeah.
And 30 minutes later, he had 2.
Yeah, there you go.
And he goes, hey, man, I want to sell.
You're a great salesman.
I want you to hire you to sell roofs. I said, no, man, I got the swipe going with the cut,
Yeah.
and all that. And a week later, I find myself unemployed.
Yeah.
Because I quit. And I went back to this guy's name was Hal. And ends up he's a con man and a liar. And, and my clients would catch him lying and say, why is your boss lying to us? And so I started my own, guilt by association thing. I started my own roofing company, Steve Patrick General Contracting. Chris Foster was my one of my salesmen, and he goes, hey, man, now this is a close.
Yeah.
He goes, I'd like to become your business partner, and I'll do all the things you hate, and you get to do all the things you love. Now, that's a close.
That's a close. That is a close.
That is sold.
The close.
Sold.
Where do I sign?
And we become Cornerstone General Contracting.
That's Chris.
That's Chris.
Chris. Okay, I just met Chris here at the show.
That's Chris.
Yep.
23 years ago.
Wow.
He's 46. It was when he was 23 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's how we started Cornerstone General Contracting, and I did that for 10 years. And I had gotten my adjuster's license, not because I ever wanted to adjust claims, because who wants to do that?
Yeah.
Right?
Lazy roofers. That's what we always say.
Yeah.
Lazy
The ones who can't make it.
You
can't make it in the roofing business. And so I started, I was claims adjusting, and then I started my own. The adjusters are so poorly trained, and I've always been a teacher.
Yep.
So I started a company to license and train claims adjusters. CIA, I call it Catastrophe Insurance Adjuster Training School.
CIA.
The CIA Training Academy. This is a very catchy name.
Yeah.
People could remember. What's that? FBI?
CIA, FBI, yeah. We actually, that's funny you say that. We did sets back in the day where we.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We had one in Lubbock called FBI.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's funny.
And so that's how we started that. And then I had the school. I had been doing appraisals. I'd done appraisals for about 23 years, did almost 2,000 of those in 23, 24 years,
That's
something like that. Did a bunch of those. And, back in the day, not that many claims had to go to appraisal. Because claims adjusters had the authority they could be reasoned with, and you'd settle the claim, and that'd go on down the road.
Yep.
But nowadays,
it's a whole different ballgame. We just talked about that. It gets worse year over year over year.
Every year it's getting worse, and it's exceedingly difficult. Yep. And so we're doing public adjusting. We're doing appraisals, level the playing field. We have
They're not just doing them. They are leading the field in them. They're training the others. They're doing amazing at them. If you haven't checked out Level the Playing Field or his appraisals or his public adjusting, this is your man.
You're very kind.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So we do have the Facebook group, Level the Playing Field. It's been going for 7 years now. We have 23,000 people.
Wow.
26. We just hit 26. I forgot. I can't even remember how many it is. Yeah. And it's all organic because I wouldn't even know how to do
it's just
to fill it up with people except organic. I wouldn't know how to do it anyway.
Group. To me, it's the only real group. Everything else is like filled with bots and stuff like that. Not to hate on the other groups. The bots chase, they follow. But yours is actually real. Like the people in there are real, asking real questions, and there's so much value in there. You could essentially start in the business tomorrow and then just go straight to Level the Playing Field and learn everything you know to master the industry.
Most people don't know this. You can go to the search feature and you can type in any word or phrase.
Yeah.
And you have an entire education.
Yeah.
And right you read all the questions that are in that subject. Let's say decking.
Yeah.
And you read all the posts about decking, and then you read the answers, and you eat the chicken, you throw away the bones, because there's some people in there that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. But they sound like they do.
Obviously. And about 1% are probably truly experts.
Yep.
But 1% of 26,000 people is 260 people.
Yeah.
260 subject matter experts in one place. They will answer your questions for free.
Yeah.
Because they just want to help out people in the industry.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That's legacy. That's what everybody's looking for.
And the Lord just blessed us. I mean, if God hadn't filled it up with 26,000 people, it would be Tony and me.
Yeah. I would have jumped
Facebook
in there.
group between each other.
I would have been the fanboy. Right?
And so, but yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And so I don't want to take away from our big episode, but you found yourself there to level the playing field, to a master teacher in the industry and somebody that's just so gracious. Cam Wade, he used the word grace all the time. So I'm picking up his words now, but it's one of my favorites. And you're so gracious because you're always giving. We are at Commercial Roofing Academy, which is absolutely amazing. So how did you find yourself going from Level the Playing Field to Commercial Roofing Academy?
So I was teaching a group in Greenville, South Carolina, and Paul was teaching the same group. It was a local roofing association called CPR. I can't remember what that stands. Something of professional roofing.
Yeah.
Coalition of Professional Roofing, perhaps, or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
And so, and then once it was over, we either I rode in his rent car or he rode in mine. I don't. A 2-hour drive to the airport, and then we're sitting at the airport visiting and stuff. And I said, why hasn't someone started a school teaching residential guys how to break into commercial roofing? Because a lot of people would want to do that, but they're afraid, and with good reason.
Yeah, where's the light bulb?
Because you can lose your shirt very easily.
Right there. Yeah, absolutely.
And he thought about it, and he goes, I don't think anyone does that. Yeah. I says, I don't think anyone does. I said, why don't we do that?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, let me give it some thought. And it took him 3 months of careful consideration and talking with Kim to see whether or not this could actually work.
Yeah.
And we launched this about 2.5 years ago. And we're maybe 3 years ago. About 2.5 years ago. It was the December right as COVID was coming out. That's when we launched this. And COVID. It's a heck of a time to launch a business. Isn't
launch a business right during COVID.
But
in a room where we got to get people all in one room, right?
And the interesting thing is 50% of our students are commercial roofers. It had never occurred to us, but these are people that started a commercial roofing company, and they're doing it shooting from the hip, and they're making all the catastrophic mistakes that cost them tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they realize they can come here, and literally half of our students are commercial roofers now. And neither one of us anticipated that market for our academy. And so it's just really been a whole bunch of PAs come, and maybe they're residential PAs and they want to break into commercial public adjusting. And so they come and they learn commercial roofing, and now they can do the commercial public adjusting.
There's so much to learn at the show. I've been in the industry all my life, and I started doing commercial. I think one of my first jobs I ever sold was commercial.
Start out big,
right? And I've been here, it's been a couple hours now. I've learned stuff. And it's like, I don't care who you are, who you think you are. You, especially most of us that have been in the industry a long time, and I'm a little bit different. I started young. I'm not old. Okay. It's like this guy, right? But we did teach ourselves a lot, and that creates a lot of bad habits. And then there's a lot of really professional, profound stuff that we don't know yet.
It's how I started out, making all the mistakes. I didn't know what I was doing. There was no one to teach me. No one to teach me.
So even if you think you know it all, or think like, I'm this commercial guru, humble yourself a little bit and come to the class, and you're going to learn something. And I always tell people, it's like, if you're in a close, and you've sold before, obviously, credit card salesman, right? Or credit card swiper. If it's one phrase, if it's one word, or if it's one way of explaining something differently.
Or you make the client laugh.
Humor. That's simple.
Humor.
That's simple. And that's why I'm just such a big fan of Commercial Roofing Academy. I really am. That's why it's like, I'll come there and we'll do some episodes. We'll have some fun. And it's just going to be hard to get me out of that room, because I like to learn. I like to listen and refresh as well. So I thank you for everything that you do. One thing, obviously, I want to be able to promote you. And I really mean it when I say it. I like this guy. I love this guy. I love what he does. I love what he stands for. But he really is amazing at what he does. So if we're trying to get a hold of you, or if we're trying to work with you in any one of your businesses, which you've got some tech company that's revolutionizing the industry, you've got Level the Playing Field, you've got appraising, you got all this stuff.
Artificial intelligence.
He did it before it was cool.
We were doing AI before it was cool.
He was doing AI before it was cool. So ChatGPT, you followed his lead.
Roofhawk.ai.
Roofhawk.ai. So out of these businesses, I don't know if you want to mention each one of them, but how do we get a hold of you, and how would we work with you on those businesses?
What we could do is put a
put something right there.
What do they call those? The boxes with the squiggly lines in them.
A QR code.
QR code.
Yeah, right here.
We could put a QR code down the bottom that has my electronic business card, and it has all the businesses and all that stuff on it.
That's perfect. So you need to work with him. I mean, and I always start with things like that. Like for me, and you even said it, how did you get your first job in the roofing industry? A relationship. He went out and he made a relationship. Relationships are what matter to me. You do business with people you know, like, and trust. And then after that, you wouldn't be in a business if it wasn't a good business. Somebody that's
not very long.
The roofing industry, somebody that's been in the roofing industry this long, and I've had people say it to me, so I know it means a lot to you, is they're going to trust what you stand behind. So get a hold of this man right here. Use that QR code, slide into his DMs, text him, and get a hold of him, because any one of his businesses.
I take all my calls. I may call you later in the day or tomorrow, depending on if I'm teaching a class like today. I'll call people this evening, but I'll get back with people.
Well, again, stay tuned, because I'm going to have him on a show for a full episode, and we're going to cover a lot of the gaps that I skipped right on over. All the stuff, the gritty details, the fun stuff, the not so fun stuff. It's challenging to succeed this much, and we have a lot of fun on the show. So I appreciate you being with me.
Thank you, Alan.
All right. Thank you, Steve.